setting a proper motivation with 3 points. Visualizing refuge field. What to visualize and how to visualize. Visualize Bodhicitta and His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And to the lineage, the traditions from Aramatria and Aramatjishri. And Bodhicitta feel to your two kind parents and all the sentient beings around you, your children, and how you visualize them, that you are so loving, caring, and affectionate towards them. And the purpose of this practice is to awaken the Buddha nature, your seed of perfection that is within each one of us, by separating the mental defilements and this Buddha nature, and remove the mental defilements, that the Buddha nature becomes manifest fully, where you experience the total fearlessness and infinite happiness. And how you remove the mental defilements is by resorting to a very powerful remedy, that is wisdom of emptiness. And this wisdom of emptiness must be the non-dual wisdom of emptiness. And this wisdom of emptiness, how we reach there is the non-dual is not something that will come overnight. It is through the practice of a deep conviction that you gain in the emptiness. That conviction will come to us only through wisdom derived through reflection. And this wisdom derived through reflection, to what extent you have reflected, to what extent you have gained conviction, that is determined by to what extent you have learned, you are exposed to the study of the emptiness. So for that we require extensive studies to get the wisdom derived through learning. And this wisdom must be supported by Bodhicitta, the most beautiful mind on this earth, the primary mind wishing to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. And this Bodhicitta, in order to reach that level of the Bodhicitta, you must have the support of the renunciation, wishing to get rid of the miseries of samsara for yourself. And so with this mind, imagine that you are leading this recitation, the practice, and all beings are joining you. All Buddhas, Bodhisattvas are watching us with so much love and affection and care. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, by my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, by my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, by my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye jodo zoge jonom lo janjo bado dane gyapso dage jinso kebe sonam ge jola benje. Sangye jodo zoge jonom lo janjo bado dane gyapso dage jinso kebe sonam ge jola benje sangye jubare shu. Sangye jodo zoge jonom lo janjo bardo dane gyapso dage jinso kebe sonam ge jola benje sangye jubare shu. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme of all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who leads here is complete peace, which through the knowledge of paths goes to achieve the ends of the world, and through the possession of which they help subduers about variety of teachings. The one who is transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by ultimate benefits to sentient beings, the teachers who guard and protect her to you of make restorations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, Eternal chance for the forever noble light rays. To you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the amount of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham datha gato yavatat Desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham datha gato yavatat Desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. Om he dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham datha gato hyavatat Desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. All phenomena arise from causes, but the Tathagata, the cessational causes as well as taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite. Such a nectar like Dharma I have discovered, finding no one who can fathom this teaching in silence I will turn to words. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is a professional wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. Is object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times of obeisance. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Once then is sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dhamma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. A good refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings from miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negativity of those beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, today we'll read the 3 principal aspects of the path, or we'll read in praise of dependent origination. Where is it? 104. In praise of dependent origination. Okay, this is about emptiness and dependent origination. Again, it's a very succinct. The works by Lama Tsongkhapa. I remember when I was in IBD, Institute of Buddhist Dialectics in Dharamsala. I just finished my we call it Persian class, Prashnaparamita class, or the class. We completed that. It's for about a total 6 years. Then we have to join the Madhyamaka class, Emptiness, Visual Emptiness class, where actually Chandraviti's text is going to be the primary text, which is entry into the middle way, Madhyamaka Avatar, for 3 years. And before that, I went to meet, not really went to meet. First, when I was in South, I was during that break time.
I was in South India to receive teachings from one of my teachers, the Venerable Geshe, and there was one greatly famous teacher in Gandhan Monastery who was a great scholar, who passed away, who was a great scholar, and he was in solitary retreat for many years in Bhutan. And he was being respected as somebody who reached the level of the Bodhisattva's level of part of preparation. And everybody viewed him as Chansamin Jolamba. Chansa means Bodhisattva, and Jolamba is a part of the accumulation. And everybody flocked there to get audience with him, to get counseling from him, to seek advice from him, to seek blessings from him. And I also went there as the auspicious beginning for the Emptiness class the next year. And I went there, and it's not like one-on-one, it's all the people together, like 20, 30, 40, 50 people together, and then you just tell what you want to, the listen or the advice that you want to seek, just tell him, then he'll be on the spot give advice. And he turned towards me and said, what do you want? Then I said that the next year I'm starting my teaching on the word that I'm going to lesson on, the Madhyamika, the middle way view, the philosophy of emptiness. So what preparation do I need? Then he said, okay, recite this in praise of dependent origination every day. That's your prayer, that's your puja, to make sure that no obstacle comes in. Then later on, after completing my studies, after completing Geshe degree, when I think of that, I realize that he must be very smart. Not that he's seeing some clairvoyance, he's believed to have clairvoyance. But I won't say that it's because of his clairvoyance, he's very smart. You study this, automatically your mind will be connected with emptiness. Every day you recite this, your mind will be connected with emptiness, and your love for emptiness, your reverence for the wisdom of emptiness will day by day increase. It's a very natural phenomenon. For example, you know each other for the last 1 week. So day one you come here, and after 7 days you are here. It's very different. You know the other person. You feel the closeness there. We are from the Bodhicitta retreat. We are one group. You have a sense of family. So that is the human psychology. I was so impressed. And this is the smartness. Where you are connected with wisdom and emptiness, this imprint you will carry to the next life. And after 10 years, if you meet somebody, again, oh, we are from the same Bodhicitta group, you will say this. Right? You have sense of, say, the familiarity. It's because of this connection built. So he was very smart. Today, when I think back of time, it's not because that he must have seen some true clairvoyance. He read my mind that so this will stop him from obstacles. No, it's just human psychology. Gotta be connected with this. Naturally, I'll feel more connected with this in my life, and this simply I'll carry to my next life. And my teacher, Venerable Lama Rinpoche, when I was just, I think about 21 or 22 years old, I showed great interest in becoming the solitary retreatant like himself. This was my dream. And then he sensed that. And he told me that, okay, you do one thing. You have a great desire to become a retreatant, solitary retreatant. So you do one thing. Every day you include that in your prayer. May I be able to become a solitary retreatant, including this in the prayer. So they say, as my teacher advised, I put that my every day. I was saying this since I was like age 20, 21. Every day, before I go to bed, I do my prayers, and at the end, direction prayer, I include this, may I be able to become a solitary retreatant. I always add this. And then later on, I started learning the philosophy more, psychology more, and then you tend to see that your knowledge is growing, you interact with other people, And then even you understand, you can feel that, say that how you see the world and the reality, these two are different, your knowledge is growing. And then you can potentially see that, okay, so that way the, say, solitary retreating is one thing, and then the being in the community, being of service to the people, teaching, this is also another thing. So yeah, I can see that, I know the concept pretty well, so I can share by becoming teacher and so forth. As somehow over the years, like 10 years, 11 years, my mind was gradually drifting from the becoming solitary retreatant to becoming like a teacher in a community, drifting. And suddenly it was like, every day I was saying this prayer, may I become a solitary retreatant, every day. And then suddenly what I said and my mental thinking is very different. My mindset is very different. My mind is more into becoming a teacher, to be in a community, becoming a teacher. And then my prayer said that, may I become a solitary retreatant. These are very opposites. Then I realized, wow, this teacher is so smart. It's not that, again, it's his clairvoyance. It's the power of the understanding of psychology, that how the person's mind can be drifted and how this can be still, even though he is not alive. Still, his words can still bring this young boy back to his original, the virtuous thought. So I was so fascinated. Wow, what I'm praying and the flow of my mindset, these are very different in different direction. So am I going wrong? Then again said, okay, then this is the reason why my teacher asked me to put this in practice. He did not say that you become a teacher. He said, put this in practice, put this in your prayer. May I become a solitary retreatant. Then again put my mind back to become a solitary retreatant. Okay, there are many stories, right? Okay. If you have like ended 1 month, I'll be happy to share all the stories. So many more stories. Let's hold it here. Okay. So this is extremely precious. The composition by Lama Tsongkhapa pertaining to a great gift for us. This great enlightened teacher. Yeah, amazing. In fact, this teacher meaning Lama Tsongkhapa, 14th century great teacher. My personality is very strange. Very sarcastic. Not now. Now very different. And very, what is that? What is English? Not sarcastic, I would say. I would say more like analytic since childhood. Analytic, as what is that English word? What's that? Who can doubt? Skeptical. Yes, not sarcastic. Skeptical. I was very skeptical. Is it true? Particularly when I was in class 9. I was age 15. We were introduced to physics as a separate subject. And then my interest simply flared. The teacher taught us, don't take things for granted. Always ask questions. Why? How? Which? What? When? Where? You have to ask these questions. Wow, that's amazing. Then I started asking questions. And as born as a Buddhist, believing in Buddhism, believing in law of karma, believing in this, that, and so forth, believing in blessings. And then I started to ask questions to my elders. And many of the answers, the elders, they did not have any answers. And the lucky that I did not shift my mind to lose faith in Dharma, luckily. And lucky that I did have a teacher, particularly when I was in class 9, Venerable Geshe the first teacher who formally introduced to me this, that Buddhist philosophy is very profound. I asked him many questions, and he's trained in Buddhist logic, psychology, and philosophy. So the answers that he gave me were all so rich, very profound, very fulfilling. And that kept me alive into Buddhism. And so what I'm saying is that I used to be extremely skeptical of these things. And now this teacher, then I joined the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics, and later I joined the Damdul Monastery and studying the commentaries by great commentaries by this teacher. And first, before I really get exposed to the intricate teachings of this teacher, there's one particular text by the name of Geshe, Essence of the Eloquent Speech. And His Holiness was giving teaching on this. And it began by praise to all the masters, like Bodhicitta, Arya Bodhisattva, the Aryadeva, and so forth. And then at one point he said, the author, the same author, Lama Tsongkhapa, he said that some people who have a lot to say, they don't practice. They don't know how to practice. Some people, they practice, but they don't know what they're practicing. Because they've never learned. So, to bridge a gap between the two, out of compassion, I'm composing this text. Who was this boy? Very skeptical. Then a little bit of uneasiness came to me, saying that he's better than these two camps, these two groups. Out of compassion, I'm bridging these two, which means that I'm exposing all these precious teachings, plus I'm incorporating them, how to apply this in a practice. I felt a little uneasy. Somebody claiming that, you are wrong, and I'm showing the right path. It made me a little uneasy. And then later on, I studied more. Then, 5th year, 6th year, 7th year, then I started to think about emptiness. Not just taking what is said there as true. Okay, what is said there is like this. Does it really resonate with the reality? I was thinking. And thinking, so many questions were coming. And these questions, I couldn't get the answer anywhere. Now, I've seen this text. I've read this text. I studied this text. Now, where should I turn to? To my questions on emptiness. And, there's one section by this author, Lama Tsongkhapa, in this book. I turned the pages there. I was so fascinated. All my aunt's questions were answered there. All the easy ones he skipped. All the complicated ones where you get stuck, he gives the answer there. Then I got the feeling that he actually meant it out of compassion. He meant it, and then I started crying. Wow, that's amazing. A great scholar with incredible scholarship, with tremendous tender compassion. I was moved to tears by seeing this. Okay, this is author, Lama Tsongkhapa. We are very fortunate that we met with, that somehow we are left with his legacies of his great, brilliant thoughts of the wisdom and the compassion blend together. This is so precious. We're so lucky. For example, the 14 verses from the three principal aspects of the path. Just read, even today, after all these many years of teaching, my personal practice, interacting with people, still I read this, I could see that, wow, this is so amazing. 14 verses equals volumes and volumes of books. Some of the books you read, you see that there are so many things which are so easy, explained in great detail, no need, just skipped. Whereas his things, his compositions, even one line you cannot skip. So precious. Easy ones, he will not even spend time to explain on these.
So with the complicated ones, he explained it way detailed. That's amazing. Okay, so what should we do? Huh? Yes.
If you wait 1 minute or 30 seconds, our eyes get used to the darkness, so we can read.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
1 minute and 20 seconds.
Now it's already done.
1 minute 20 seconds.
Yeah, still 10 seconds left.
But if he cannot read, then what should I do? We trust you, and then you failed us. Okay, Ben, the Hansla.
Yes, I can read.
You can read. Okay, that's close. The Hansla and the Sadhanaji. And the lady there, what's your name? Here in front of the sadhana? Yes.
You can also read Yael.
Yael. Okay. Hansla, Sadhana, and Yael, through you, and over there. Yeah, the Abhishekji and the lady there. Rajiv, and the Rinzanla, and Sunil. Okay, to those of you can see, you read it for us, but with the what? With the synchrony. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Others, can also see this? No? Okay, let's read this together. Here, the impress of dependent origination. Sorry. Thank you. Impress of dependent origination by Lama Tsongkhapa. He who speaks on the basis of seeing, this makes him a knower and teacher unexcelled. I bow to you, O Conqueror, you who sought dependent origination and taught it. Whatever degenerations there are in the world, the root of all these is ignorance. You taught that it is dependent origination, a thing of which will undo the ignorance. So how can an intelligent person not comprehend that this part of dependent origination is the essential point of your teaching? This being so, who will find your Savior a more wonderful way to praise you than to praise you for having taught this origination through dependence? Whereas if it depends on conditions, that is the word of intrinsic existence. What excellent instruction can there be more amazing than this proclamation? By grasping at it, a child is strengthened and wanders to extreme views. For the wise, this very fact is the doorway to cut free from the net of inhibitions. Since this teaching is not seen elsewhere, you are the teacher. According to Fox's line, or a Tipika, it would be a word of flattery. One to his teacher, one to his refuge, one to his speaker, one to his savior. I bear homage to that teacher who taught well dependent origination. To help heal sentient beings, O benefactor, you have taught the purest reason to ascertain emptiness at the heart of the teaching. This way of dependent origination, those who perceive it as contradictory or as unestablished, how can they comprehend your system? For you, when one sees emptiness in terms of the meaning of dependent origination, then being the word of intrinsic existence and possessing valid functions do not contradict. Whereas then when one sees the opposite, since there can be no function in emptiness, no emptiness is in what has functions, one falls into the dreadful abyss you maintain. Therefore, in your teaching, seeing dependent origination is hailed, that too not as an utter non-existence, nor as an intrinsic existence. The non-contingent is like a sky flower, hence there is nothing that is not dependent. If things exist through their essence, their dependence on causal conditions for the existence is a contradiction. Therefore, since no phenomena exists other than origination through dependence, no phenomena exists other than being devoid of intrinsic existence, you taught. Because the intrinsic nature cannot be negated, if phenomena did possess some intrinsic nature, nirvana would become impossible, and elaborations could not be ceased, you taught. Therefore, who could challenge you, you who spoke, proclaim divine soul, repeatedly that everything is utterly pure of intrinsic nature, that there is no intrinsic existence at all, and that all functions as this arising in dependence of that, what needs that we say that these two converge without conflict. It is through the reason of dependent origination that one does not lean towards the extreme. That you, the Savior, having declared this accidentally, is the source of your unexcelled speech. All of this is devoid by essence, and from this arises that effect. These two certainties complement
each other with no contradiction at all. What is more amazing than this, what is more marvelous than this, if one praises you in the manner, there's real praise, not otherwise not. Okay, we are all on page 106, verse 22. Verse 22. Okay, are you all follow me? Good. Being enslaved by ignorance, those who fiercely oppose you, what is so astonishing about them being unable to bear the sound of no intrinsic existence, but having accepted the dependent origination, the precious treasure of your speech, the not tolerating the roar of emptiness, this I find amazing indeed. The door that leads to no intrinsic existence, this unexcelled door of dependent origination, through his name alone, if one grasps the intrinsic existence, now this person who lacks the unraveled entrance, well traveled by the noble ones, by what means should one guide him to the excellent path that pleases you? Intrinsic nature, uncreated and non-contingent, dependent origination, contingent and created. How can these two converge upon a single basis without contradiction? Therefore, whatever originates dependently, though primordially free of intrinsic existence, appears as if it does possess intrinsic existence. So you taught all this to be illusion-like. Through this very fact, I understand well the statement that in what you have taught, those opponents who challenge you cannot find faults that accord with reason. Why is this so? Because by declaring these, chances for reification and denigration towards things seen and unseen are made most remote. Through this very path of dependent origination, the rationale for your speech being peerless, conviction arises in me also. There are other words of value too. You speak excellently by seeing as it is. For those who are trained in your footsteps, all degenerations will become remote, for the root of all faults will be undone. But those who turn away from your teaching, though they may struggle with hardship for a long time, faults increase evermore as it being called forth, for they make firm the way of self. Aha, when the wise comprehend the differences between these two, why would they not at that point revere you from the depths of their being, let alone your numerous teachings, even in the meaning of a small part? Those who find ascertainment in a cursory way, this brings supreme bliss to them as well. Alas, my mind was defeated by ignorance, though I have sought the refuge for a long time. In such an embodiment of excellence, I possess not a fraction of his qualities. Nonetheless, before the stream of this life flowing towards death has come to a cease, that I found slight faith in you, even this I think is fortunate. Among teachers, the teacher of dependent origination, amongst wisdom, the knowledge of dependent origination, you who are most excellent like the kings of the world, know this perfectly well, not others. All that you have taught proceeds by way of dependent origination, that too is done for the sake of nirvana. You have no deeds that do not bring peace. How amazing your teaching is such, in whomever ears it falls, they all attain peace. So who would not be honored to uphold your teaching? It overcomes all opposing challenges. It is free from contradiction between early and later paths. It grants fulfillment of being's two aims. For this way system, my joy increases evermore. For his sake, you have given away again and again over countless eons, sometimes your body, at others your life, as well as your loving kin and resources of wealth. Seeing the qualities of this teaching pulls hard at your heart to a fish. Sad it is not to have heard it from you. The intensity of that sorrow does not let go of my mind, just like the mind of a mother constantly goes after her dear child. Hence, here too, as I reflect on your words, I think, blazing with the glory of noble marks and hallowed in a net of light rays, this teacher is a voice of pristine melody, spoke thus in such a way. The instant such a reflection of the sage's form appears in my mind, it soothes me, just as moonbeams heal a fever's pain. This excellent system, most marvelous, some individuals who are not so learned have entangled it in utter confusion, just like the tangled bulbasic grass. Seeing this situation, I strove with a multitude of efforts to follow after the learned ones and sought your intention again and again. At such times that I studied the numerous works of both our own middle way and other schools, my mind became tormented evermore, constantly by a network of doubts. The night lily grove of the Nagarjuna's treatise says, Nagarjuna, whom you prophesize, will unravel your unexcelled vehicle as it is, shining extremes of existence or non-existence, illuminated by the garland of the white lights of Chandra's well-uttered insights, Chandra, whose stainless wisdom orb is full, who glides freely across scripture's space, who dispels the darkness of extremist hearts and outshines the constellations of the false speakers. When through my teacher's kindness I sought this, my mind found rest at last. Of all your deeds, your speech is supreme. Within that too, it is this very speech. So the wise would remember the Buddha through this teaching of dependent origination. Following such a teacher and having become a renunciant, having studied the conqueror's words not so poorly, this monk who strives in the yogic practices, such is the depth of this reverence to the great seer. Since it is due to my teacher's kindness, I've met with the teaching of the unexcelled teacher. I dedicate this virtue true towards the cause for all beings to be sustained by sublime spiritual mentors. Of this beneficial one till world's end, be unshaken by the winds of evil thoughts, may it always be met by innumerable beings who find conviction in the teacher by understanding their teaching's true nature. May I never falter even for an instant to uphold the excellent way of the sage, which illuminates the principle of dependent origination through all my births, even giving away my body in life. When I spend day and night carefully reflecting by what means can I enhance this teaching, achieved by the Supreme Savior, through strenuous efforts over countless eons, as I strive in this with pure intention, may Brahma, Indra, and the world's protector such as Mahakala unswervingly always assist me. Okay. Continuation from where we left yesterday, the teaching of Bodhicitta, the two methods, the method of equalizing and exchanging self for others. So this method is they transmitted originally by the Buddha to whom? To Arya Maitreya? Arya Maitreya or Arya Sangha? Arya Maitreya? Arya Manjushri? Okay, first Arya Maitreya. Sevenfold cause and method is through Arya Maitreya, whereas the method of equalizing and exchanging self for others is Arya Manjushri, not Arya Maitreya. Okay, right? In just 2-3 days, don't say Arya Maitreya. You're getting it? So the method of equalizing and exchanging self from Arya Maitreya, don't say that. People may think that, okay, what is this class? Is this class having after 7 years? Right? It's just 2 days. So you should have the clear memory. That is what is expected. Okay, so what we said is that the Buddha taught the two methods, a sevenfold cause effect method and the method of equalizing and exchanging self for others. The first method of the sevenfold cause effect method is transmitted to Arya Maitreya. Then Arya Maitreya, it is passed down to Arya Sangha, and this how we got in the 11th century to Lama Selingpa in Indonesia, and then from Lama Selingpa, Lama Atisha, the Bangar Shirikyanam, he got from him, and then he was invited to Tibet, and this is how we got this tradition. So even today, this tradition is alive. So what we were doing of the two methods is the method of equalizing exchanges of others. And this was inherited by Arya Manjushri from the Buddha Shakyamuni. The Arya Manjushri passed it down to Arya Nagarjuna down to Bodhisattva Arya Deva, and then from there again down to Lama Selimpa, then to Lama Atisha, and this is how we got from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. This is how we still have these two traditions confluenced today. So with this mind, how many steps are there for the method of equalizing exchanges of others? How many steps? 9 steps. What are there? Is there anybody who can say this without looking at the notes? Is there anybody who can say this without looking at the notes? Arjunla? Yes. Number 1. What's number 1? Equalizing self and others.
Reflecting on the merits of cherishing oneself.
Good.
Reflecting on merits of cherishing others.
Yes.
Taking the suffering of others to the benefit of compassion.
Very good.
Giving their happiness with emphasis on loving kindness.
Very good.
Exchange of self with others. Actual exchange of self with others.
Very good.
Special collection of the kindness of others.
Very good.
Altruism.
Good. Very good. Oh, yeah, very good. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Okay, now if you like to look at the note, you can look at the note and tell me what are the 9 steps. Equalizing self and others, reflecting on the demerits of cherishing oneself, reflecting on the merits of cherishing others, taking the suffering of others with emphasis on compassion, giving a happiness with emphasis on loving kindness, actual exchange of self and others, special recollection of the kindness of others, altruism, and bodhicitta. Very good. And we finish up to which point? We finished the 4th? Are you sure? We finished the 4th or we finished the 5th one? We did or we are doing or we did? Okay, we are still at 4 and 5. Thank you. Okay, 4 and 5 together are known as the practice of Tonglen. And so what we said yesterday was that some people just say that, oh, if you go through depression, if you go through difficult times, you met with tragic incidents, practice Tonglen. It's not that easy. So instead, if a teacher tells you like this, do it, but make sure not to miss the first 3 points. Make sure the first 3 points are there. Then the point number 5, 4, and 5, the Tonglen practice will have a great impact in a practice. Otherwise, it can be counterproductive. We should be careful with this. And in fact, this is experiential. Many people, they go through this, they just, somebody told them, do Tonglen, they do the practice, and then they collapse completely. So this is what we should be very careful with. Okay. You want to hear a story?
Yes.
Anybody from Spain with hands? Spain. Okay, Jonathan. Who else? Yes, there. Your name? Bia, Jonathan. Huh? Pablo, Maria. Okay. I think they left today. Yes. Pablo, Maria, yes, two of them left today. Okay, is there anybody who's leaving today? Okay, no one. I was in Spain. That was many years ago, and those days they say the workload was so heavy, and I hardly get time to eat food. That was the reality. As compared to today, comparing those days today, nowadays I'm very relaxed. In those days, extremely busy, hardly having time to even take the food. Okay, I'm not going to elaborate on this. And so much of stress because of not much time for mentally everything like deadline like this. And I was in Spain for a conference, and my friend, he and his wife and his father-in-law is a great medical doctor, homeopathic medical doctor, and his wife is also a medical doctor, and he is a Tibetan, his wife is Spanish, and the father of course is Spanish. And father is very famous homeopathic doctor. And he said that Geshe, I'll take to his father-in-law for checkup. And his father-in-law is very famous. I said, yes, very good. I went there. And then his father-in-law just touched my pulse and he said, you have so much stress. I said, yes, you're right. He said, don't have stress. I said, okay. And then he said that don't have stress. You have to practice Tonglen. And he learned all these things, Tonglen and all this he learned. He said, you have to practice Tonglen, right? I said, yes. My friend was so angry, right? How dare this man is trying to teach a Geshe Laramba how to practice Dharma, right? He was so angry. I said, just cool down. Let him say whatever he likes to tell me. And then he's much junior to me, meaning my friend. He's much junior. So I just controlled him. And then the father-in-law was not knowing what's going between two of us. And again he checked it. He says, you have so much stress. I said, yes, I have. Don't have stress. I said, okay. Practice Tonglen. Practice Bodhicitta. I said, okay. Then he became extremely angry. He is almost on the verge to blast at his father-in-law. And I said, no, just let him speak what he wants to speak. Because if he knows that I am Geshe, and still he is, counseling me, which means that I'm so happy to see what he's doing every day to his patients. Every day he must be counseling his patients to practice compassion. That is so precious. This is like really healing for me. To see that somebody is counseling others, a doctor is counseling others, just giving prescribing medicines. Instead of that, counseling other people, how to practice compassion, how to distress yourself with practice compassion. I'm so happy to see this. So don't blast on him, right? And he said, you have to practice compassion. Yes, I will practice compassion. Don't have stress. Okay, I will not have stress. Right? If I say, no, this is what he would say, no, you should not have stress, and unnecessary, the conflicts will happen. No need to debate. Just, okay, yeah. Okay. So this is, yes, it does help you greatly, the practice of Tonglen, but it must be supported by the first 3 steps. But the first 3 steps, you see the practice of Tonglen as though like the other people are doing things for you. People are doing favor for you, not that you are doing favor for others. If you do the Tonglen alone, separately, you'll get the impression that we are doing favor for others. So what's the difference? When you feel that you are doing favor for others, you easily feel burnout and tired. When you feel others are doing favor for you, you feel energized. You will never feel burnout. This is the difference. So, feeling that others are doing favor for you will happen only if tolerant practice is complemented by the first 3 steps. Okay, so tolerant practice. The first one is the len, to take the suffering of others with emphasis and compassion. For this, taking the suffering, there are so many versions of doing that, and I'm simply going to share with you what I do. Okay, for taking the suffering of others, there are 3 kinds of suffering. In fact, say when we practice, we try to practice in such a way that they are always connected to one very authentic sources, rather than being too creative. You can be creative, but not being too creative to the extent that you just neglect all the authentic sources. And all the authentic sources, they're coming from the great experienced masters. So in a way, like you are just the sidelining all these experiences gone through by the great masters. So including meditating within the confinement of the early masters' experiences is extremely precious. So including the Buddha, the suffering that you take, there are 3 kinds. What are they? Suffering, suffering change, pervasive conditioned suffering. 3 kinds of suffering are there. And the suffering change, pervasive conditioned suffering. PERVASIVE, pervasive conditioned suffering. Okay, what is suffering? Suffering is the manifest suffering. Anything which anybody can easily identify as suffering is a suffering. Right? For example, headache, sadness, tragedies, loss of near dear ones, and so forth. Okay, what is suffering change? Hey, anybody, what is suffering change? Everything is changing. Non-composite phenomena, they are changing. Omala. Non-composite phenomena, they change, not change? They do. Composite, everything which is composite changes. Everything which is composite changes. Very good. But what is suffering change? Hey, what is suffering change? Headache. The pain of losing near and dear ones is also composite phenomena. It also changes, but it's a suffering of suffering. It's not suffering change. So what is suffering change? Anybody? Philip?
Kind of samsaric happiness.
Samsaric happiness. Okay, good. Yes?
When you get what you want, you will just finally lose it. So when you get what you want, it's happiness, but this happiness is not going to last. And you're going to lose it, it's suffering.
Okay, things that you get, what do you want? There's suffering change. Okay, good. Anybody else? Manjariji?
I would say it's the suffering that arises because of the reality of impermanence.
I say it again, suffering?
That arises out of impermanence, like the loss of youth or...
Loss of youth is suffering or suffering change?
I would say it's suffering change.
What we said is suffering. The what? A simple definition that I give is what? A suffering, a manifest suffering which anybody can easily identify as suffering. The loss of youth, nobody wants that. Everybody identifies that as suffering easily. Okay, Tam?
Is it suffering of suffering in its dormant state before people can identify it easily?
Say it again.
The suffering of change could be a suffering of suffering in its dormant state before people can
Okay, suffering in a dormant state. Okay, suffering in dormant. Can you give an example?
It looks like happiness, so people cannot identify, but this happiness is later surely turned into manifest suffering. So
Okay, let's say that the my hands, how they look like? Nice? Not nice? That's not cute. They were cute when I was 7 years old. Not normal cute, right? But this ugly hand, the seed of that ugly hand was in the form of a dormant state when I had the cute hands. So that dormant state of is that suffering change? Are you sure? Okay, ceiling.
Suffering or change. Give example, it's like when I'm hungry, I eat. But I cannot continue to eat. So if I continue to eat, right, then the happiness will become suffering.
So which said, when you're hungry, that is the suffering change?
No,
Or the eating is the suffering change?
when
Or it changes to pain is suffering change? Or which one is suffering change? You said many things.
suffering or change is like from initially you think
Which one?
when I'm eating,
Or
you're
eating,
happy. You're happy.
the happiness that you get with eating food, that is suffering change.
Then if you continue to eat, then
If you don't continue, then it's not suffering change.
but yeah, alright. Just like when you're sitting,
If you have moderation, then it's not a suffering change. You eat just half full and stop it there. This is not suffering change?
just like if you do exercise,
Is this suffering change or not?
yeah, suffering or change. I feel that
No. Eat only half stomach. And then so it's not suffering change.
then it's not enough.
Oh. No, the doctors will say that, half is good. Full will make you fat. Half is good. Yeah. Okay, Petula?
Because the samsaric happiness or the samsaric pleasures that act as a bait lure us and trap us in samsara.
Okay, samsaric pleasures which serve as a bait. Okay, samsaric pleasures, samsaric happiness, and the good things that you get which you want, right? Like nirvana or Buddhahood, they're not. But these are good things, right? That you get when you want. But other things, samsaric things, right? Samsaric things which you want, you get. These are the suffering change. Yes, Sadhanji?
yeah, samsaric pleasures which are like delicious when they are baked, but they do not turn out to be as delicious. They do not pull any push of immersion and attraction.
Okay, samsaric pleasures which serve as a bait, which seem so delicious, but in actuality, they only make us build a bad habit of the pull and push. Okay, Ladunla?
When I like the chocolate, for example, I get a pleasure, but I grasp that okay, this is the pleasure that helps me more to self-acceptance.
So which is suffering change? You like the chocolate, there is a suffering change? Or the eat the chocolate is a suffering change? Or which one?
Liking the chocolate is not something.
So what is suffering change?
But when I grasp it, this is what is it.
You grasp at the chocolate and say that this is good. Swiss chocolate is very good.
It is good.
Right? So that's not is a valid cognition.
But it is good, but when I'm attached to it as like
No, attachment is that a suffering change?
yes.
Attachment is suffering change, or the pleasure that you get out of taking the chocolate is the suffering change? It's not suffering. Okay. Yes, over there. Or the fear of losing the good things that we have, that fear, is that suffering change? The fear, is that you like that fear or you don't like this fear? And who likes this fear? Nobody likes it. Everybody identifies that as suffering. A suffering, which everybody identifies, easily identifies that as suffering, is known as suffering of suffering. So that is the, and so that's the outcome of suffering change. The fear of losing the good things, the fear of losing this delicious Swiss chocolate taste, the fear of losing that, the fear of losing your good house, the fear of losing your near and dear ones. That's the result of the pleasure, the happiness that you are having. You have the happiness, and there's a fear of losing this. So the pleasure, the happiness that you're experiencing, that's suffering change. And the fear of losing that, that's suffering. Good? Okay. Yes.
The so-called happiness, which has the potential to change the suffering like Jesus, when the pleasurable feeling ceases, so the suffering manifests again. If I'm hungry, I eat, and
your hunger is removed.
Yes, it is removed, but I will get hungry again.
So which is suffering change? When you get hungry, this is the first time you get hungry, is that the suffering change?
No.
Or you eat the food, that is suffering change? Or then becoming hungry again, that's suffering change? Which one?
During eating food.
Okay, during eating food and you feel the pleasant feeling.
Yes.
That's suffering change. Okay, good. The Ishamala?
This evidence study level was her example. So the first chocolate I had, so it will be big pleasure for me. So the 10th chocolate will give me some pain.
No, 10 chocolates is very good.
No. 100 chocolates will also give me some pain.
That's true. 100 it will pain, give you pain. 10 is good. 100.
Chocolate. And which gives me pleasure, also gives me pain.
Yes. No, first one you ate, now you cannot eat it again. It not give you pain again because you have already eaten it. Manogaji.
When pleasure turns into pain, like I love momos. So the first plate of momo is a pleasure. Yeah. And then maybe I get more, second plate, third plate, maybe I eat that already. Then the fourth plate, if I have to really eat that becomes the pain.
Well, Manogaji, you can go till the fourth plate. That's amazing. Okay, so let us listen to here. Chunzumla. Chunzumla, Yangzumla. Chunzum. Yeah. Contaminated habit. Can you give an example?
So when you experience a temporary pleasure and grasp at it to be genuine happiness, but it doesn't turn out that.
Can you give me an example?
For example, right now I'm comfortable, but at some point.
Australian marmite, you know? Vegemite. Australian Vegemite, right? That's amazing. Australian Vegemite is amazing. Amazing. I don't mean to say that you bring that to me, right? But I know it's amazing. Yes, so what is that? Australian, the Vegemite is a problem, is a suffering change, or what is suffering change?
No, the suffering change is when you think by eating more of the Vegemite, you'll get more pleasure.
So Vegemite, you eat more, you get more pleasure.
You think that. But
You think that,
yeah,
so that is suffering change. Your thinking is suffering change.
the way in which you perceive the object.
No, which suffering change? Be very clear. Which is suffering change? Vegemite is a problem, which suffering change? Or thinking that will give you more happiness, that's suffering change? Or eat the Vegemite and you get such a pleasant feeling, that's suffering change? Or which one? You keep eating it, and then you start to feel the salt more and more. It becomes more and more salty, right? And then does suffering change, or which one?
I want to say it's the way that you perceive the object, thinking that from the sound of the
Well, which one? Receiving the object is the suffering change, or thinking that this will give you happiness, suffering change, or you eat it and pleasant feeling comes, there's suffering change, or you eat it more and then the salty becomes more and more strong. You start feeling more, there's suffering change. Which one?
your perception of the object.
Huh?
Your perception of the object.
Perception of that as the veggie mind. That is the suffering change.
Your perception of the veggie mind as genuine happiness.
Okay, perception of veggie mind as genuine happiness. That's the problem. Veggie mind per se is not a problem. The joy, the pleasant feeling that you get, this is not a problem. This is not suffering change.
The initial pleasure.
This is not suffering change. Okay. So they okay, here. Your name? Eva, yes, Eva. The loss of a child. Yes. Loss of a child, this is acute pain. This is extremely painful. So, who is that child? Each one of us. This is how the parents, they feel so much of pain. You're getting it? Don't just pick up one incident that this parent is being unkind towards the child. Think of the larger picture. You see that parents feel so much of pain. It's amazing, incredible pain. So the child is already like 50 years, 60 years old. And the mother still worries about the child, worries after the child. The pain that the parents feel. So we really need to think of holistically. Don't just pick up one incident and say that, okay, this is the problem, my mother has a problem, Don't think like this. Think of the holistic picture, very broad picture. You see how the parents, they really suffer for their children. They always think of their children, right? Okay, more to speak on this. Okay, with this, they remember. Okay, yes, anecdote from the Minogaji. Minogaji, raise hand. Yes, Minogaji once shared the same anecdote that she was with her two little sons, now big, two little sons, and they were having they went to a restaurant, and the two sons, they ordered a lot of food, and finally they could not eat. And the Minogaji was forcing, you ordered it, you have to eat it. And the Minogaji was, in a way, like skillfully making the two sons also listen to the NMC. Now the master's course, putting it loudly. And the two sons, they were very smart. And the two sons, the elder one, what he said was that, Mom, don't force me now. There's the suffering. This is suffering change. The food, because she heard was suffering change through the mothers putting it loud, teaching loudly. So he said, now, Mom, this has become a suffering change. You know that. Mom, you know that. So don't force me. This is suffering change now. Okay. What is suffering change? Let us make it very clear. So, simple definitions. What is suffering? Suffering. Any suffering which anybody can easily identify them as suffering. As simple as that. Right? Any suffering which anybody can easily identify them as suffering. That is suffering. Number two, what is suffering change? Suffering change is any happiness, the pleasant feeling. Any pleasant feeling which has the element of being a bait. Which serves as a bait, B-A-I-T, bait. Okay, what is bait in French? Huh? Oh, Anapa. Okay, the Eva is from which country? Switzerland.
Actually, Czech Republic.
Czech Republic.
Born in Czech
And
Republic.
speak what language? French?
And also French.
French. So the Anapava.
Apa, c'est comme quand tu vas pêcher et le petit verre de terre, c'est un appât.
Oh, that is the bait. Yeah. Okay. So any pleasant feeling which serves as a bait. What is bait? Bait should have two qualities. Bait should have two qualities. This is a beautiful example. Bait. It should have two qualities. One is that it should be very delicious. It should be pleasant. If it's not pleasant, no fish will come. It should be pleasant. It should be delicious. At the same time, it catches you. This meaning of the bait. Catches you, you like to lose your freedom or not? You like to be in the hook or not? You don't want to be in the hook, right? You want the delicious food or not? Yes. Because then you go there. Then who comes? You like it or not? You don't like it. You don't like it. So overall, you like it or not? The hook which traps you with the delicious food, you like it or not? You don't like it. This is what even the wild animals, if they sense that where the food is, there's a trap there, they will run away. They will not even look at the food. If they know that there's a trap there. You're getting it? This is a bait. Even the animals, when they come to know that this is a bait, they'll run away. But if you take the bait, it's very delicious. But there's a hook also there. You're getting it? This is suffering change. Okay. Then what is the third? Pervasive conditioned suffering. Okay. What is pervasive conditioned suffering? Anyone? What is pervasive conditioned suffering? Hansla?
Pervasive conditioned suffering. I see it as the way things are at the moment everywhere. You know, where we live and how we live and what the environment and everything.
So pervasive suffering, the pervasive conditioned suffering, what Hansla is saying is that a suffering which pervades across samsara. Across samsara. Across samsara meaning, the samsara, there are three levels. Desire realm, form realm, and formless realm. Three realms are there. So suffering which spreads all over in samsara, that is pervasive. It pervades whole samsara. Whereas suffering pervades only the desire realm, not the form and formless. Suffering pervades only desire realm, not the form and formless. And the suffering change pervades desire realm and the form realm, not the formless. Not the formless. And if you want to be more precise, okay, first let me put it like this. If you want to be very precise, the form realm is further divided into four groups. First concentration, second concentration, form realm, form. Second concentration, third and fourth concentration. Four concentrations there as the four levels of the form realm. Now suffering change exists in the desire realm and also in the first three form realms. First three form realms. And in the fourth form realm, there's no suffering change. And in the formless, no suffering change. So suffering change does not pervade across samsara. And whereas the pervasive condition suffering pervades all over in samsara, desire realm, form, formless, all. Therefore, that is known as suffering change. And some of you may be wondering, what examples are there of suffering change? Pervasive condition, oh wait, sorry. What examples do we have for the pervasive condition suffering? That is like our being under the sway, our being under the control of the contaminated karmas and afflictions. Our being under the control, we being under the control of contaminated karmas and afflictions. Another example would be involuntary birth in samsara. Involuntary birth in samsara. So these are the, and also the contaminated neutral feelings. Contaminated neutral feelings. These three things pervade all over samsara, pervade everywhere in samsara. We being under the sway, we being under the control of the contaminated afflictions. Wherever in samsara you are in control of the contaminated afflictions. Then, yes, Tudent Isla. Okay, why there's a pervasive because it pervades all the three realms in samsara. Why is it conditioned? Conditioned meaning that we become the slave. We become the slave of involuntary birth. We become the slave of the contaminated afflictions. So, for example, when we take birth, this is all decided by them. We are the slave. Decided by, conditioned by the contaminated afflictions. We are conditioned by these two things.
So does that mean that we are suffering without knowing it?
Okay, this is a good question. Okay, it does mean that this is kind of suffering which we don't know. Yes, this is a very good point. The third one is which the ordinary people, until you learn about you learn about how the contaminant comes in afflictions, and particularly how ignorance, self-grasping ignorance, and they make us slave of them. Unless we know that, we are totally ignorant. We even are unaware that we are suffering from the pervasive condition suffering. You're getting it? Okay, good. So now taking the suffering part. Okay, first, the suffering, for examples, do we have? Headache, you eat the momos, you're getting it? The first momo you ate momo, what is that? You happy or not happy? Very happy. That is, which suffering is that? Suffering change. And then you eat the second momo, fifth, 10th. Then what? Then you happy, not happy? Hey, 10th. Okay, the lady there, what's your name? Yes. Mary. So Mary, are you happy? The first momo? Good. 10th momo? So. 20th? 20th not. But you like momos? Right? So this 50 momos is yours? 50 momos is yours. The 50 momos. It's just for you. Right? So the 10, you're happy. Then 15th, no, Geshe, I'm done. Right? No, it's for you. You have to eat it. Then 20th, no, please, no. Then 30th, no way. And 40th, then you puke. Right? Okay. 40th momo is more delicious or the first momo is more delicious? Mary? The first one. First one will keep it last. First one will keep it last. And the 40th one which is not delicious, we'll eat it first. The first which is not delicious, we'll eat first. And then when it comes to the 40th, you don't eat the 40th. The first one that you kept, you eat it. Was that? Same. Suffering. You're getting it? So, it is supposed to be giving happiness, but it's now changed to give you miseries. Okay. So, what is suffering of change? Any pleasant feeling will serve as a bait. Will serve as a bait to trap you in samsara. Which serves as a bait, along with the corresponding objects. You're getting it? Not only the feeling, but also objects which trigger this pleasant feeling. That is also suffering change.
What was the last thing you said? It serves as a bait.
It's to trap us in samsara, along with its corresponding objects. Along with the corresponding objects which trigger these pleasant feelings. Yes?
So we saw the definition of the second type, but we didn't see any examples.
Okay, the example is yet to give. The pleasant feelings that you get, The pleasant feeling that you get out of the first momo, eating the first momo, along with the first momo, right? Okay. So then eating the 50th momo, there's suffering change. No, there's a suffering. There's suffering. And the corresponding object is also suffering. You getting it?
Okay, so first momo is suffering is change. And the last momo is suffering is suffering.
The last momo, which one? The third one?
The
Which is sometimes we get only 3 pieces. All 3 are very delicious.
So that's the suffering of change.
Which one? Yes. Some people, some hotels, they will give you only 4 pieces. 1 plate means 4 pieces of momo. What is 4 pieces? So therefore, the Manogaji got for the 4th one, 4th plate. Right? Yeah, sometimes only 4 pieces. It's nothing. Some people eat 20, 30 pieces. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Venerable Tudnizala.
Why did you say along with the object?
Okay, along with the objects. This is not my creation. I'm not, I simply dislike self-creation, my own creation of, definitions like this. No. So there are always some authentic sources of the end. So the objects, for example, I see the flower, wow, this is so good. I get a pleasant feeling. That is the suffering of change. And what triggers this pleasant feeling? That object, the flower. That flower which triggered this pleasant feeling is also suffering change. This is what is said by Lama Tsongkhapa in his book Lamrim. Of course, there is one,
The object may be the same.
Yes.
For example, like the common example is chocolate cake. Some might feel attracted towards having it and some might not like it.
Exactly.
Why is the object involved?
No, the object is involved, but your question would be like, the same object, can you say that it is suffering change as well as suffering? This could be a question. So what we can say is that this object, let's say that the 20th momo or the 50th momo, I don't think anybody would like it. Anybody? Some people, they can eat 50 momos easily, right? Okay, let's say the 50th momo. 50th momo, I say for you, you look at it and it makes you throw up. And another person who's coming with the empty stomach, seeing your 50th momo, for him or her is the first momo. For him is suffering. No, suffering change, and for me, that is suffering. That's fine. It's in the context of the isolates. With respect to me, it is suffering change. Suffering. With respect to somebody with the empty stomach, that is the suffering change. Good? Yes, Arun.
Would it apply to happiness also?
Yes, of course. That is happiness. Feeling of happiness.
Yes.
Feeling of happiness. In other words, say what I said is that any pleasant feeling or any feeling of the pleasantness, any feeling of happiness which serves as bait to trap us in samsara along with their corresponding objects. This is what I said. And if you want it even shorter, any mundane happiness, any contaminated happiness, that is suffering change. Yeah. Okay, now taking the suffering of others with emphasis on compassion. Yes.
In translation from pervasive condition suffering, you gave an example of contaminated neutral feeling. What is that?
Okay, good question. In fact, say we have the unpleasant feelings. Unpleasant feelings exist only in the desire realm, not in the form and formless realm. The pleasant feelings, contaminated pleasant feelings, exist in the desire realm and the first 3 form realms, not in the formless and the 4th form realm. So that the pleasant feelings, contaminated pleasant feelings, that is suffering change. Now we have three kinds of feeling. What are they? Unpleasant, pleasant, neutral. So neutral, contaminated neutral feelings, they exist in all three realms. So therefore they are pervasive. They pervade all three realms. That is known as a pervasive condition suffering. Contaminated, therefore it is suffering. Yeah. And that serves as the foundation for all the other sufferings. It conditions the other sufferings to arise. Yeah. What you got? Yes.
Is it for condition? Because the suffering is the condition for suffering, or is it being conditioned?
Okay. It's a good question.
Conditioning or being conditioned?
Okay. Let's say it conditions. They condition us to be in samsara. They condition our destination. For example, the pot, the clay pot, what shape, what color the pot is going to assume is determined by the potter. So the contaminant karmas and afflictions, they condition what kind of birth we'll have. Whether we're happy, unhappy, long life, short life, all determined by the contaminant karmas and afflictions. They decide. So we are the slave of these. Yes, Abhishek ji?
Question about again suffering of change.
Yes.
I think let's see whatever people said, but example for a mother holding in joy a newly born child will be a suffering of change.
Okay, what do you think? Say, mother holding the day one old child, that's tremendous joy there. So this experience of joy, is that a suffering change?
Yes.
The answer is yes. Answer is yes. Yes, answer is yes. And another thing, that very important point that I'd like to share with you is that, let's say that, okay, let's say now most of us, we are already now okay with the iPhones. Otherwise, when the iPhones first came, like iPhone 4, 5, 6, most people don't have the iPhone, right? When you see iPhone, it attracts, it pulls your mind. Yes? Be very honest. Or Gucci, or Chanel, Louis Vuitton. What else? What else? So they just see it, they pull your mind. You're getting it? They pull your mind. Okay. Say, when you pull your mind, what is that? A pleasant feeling comes, or what feeling comes? Pleasant feeling comes. Let's not forget it. You're getting it? Let's not forget it. Pleasant feeling comes. Compare this with, you see, like for example, let's say instead of the flower, you see the nirvana or Buddhahood. The Buddhahood, right? You see the Buddhahood, again a pleasant feeling comes. These two pleasant feelings are very different, qualitatively different. Right? One with the seeing the Buddha or seeing nirvana, this mental turbulence subsides. Object. Just by encountering with the object, the turbulence subsides. Whereas with the Chanel, Gucci, turbulence is stirred, right? In the form of pleasant feeling and turbulence mixed, right? And how do you know that? There's so much excitement there, right? When your mother takes you away from the shop, okay, now we'll come next time. Still your mind is pulled like this, right? Still you just feel like going back and just touch it. Right? And this touches to my satisfaction. Yeah, there's a big, great turbulence in your mind. There's a huge difference. So some people, right, even with the people you can see difference. Say some people who are so pure, extremely kind, highly knowledgeable, and very pure, And some people who are so much into money all the time, how to exploit others with money, and very rich, ultra rich, only with the money, money, money. You meet these two people, your mental reaction is very different. You don't have to do anything. Just meet with this person, talk about money, it's billions of dollars, billions of crores of money, crores of this, and so forth. And then I did this with the crores, and then I did this turnover of this $1 million, like this, and the person dared to do anything, to exploit anything, exploit anybody, as long as the person gets money, right? You go there, you see that, and then how much you have? I have so little. And this person talk about millions and billions and so forth. And I borrowed this, I lend this money, and now I'm this turnover, this happening, now this not happening. So I will make sure that I'll teach a lesson to this person. So cruel about money. You feel agitated. Somehow you feel the disturbance in your mind. There's no anger, but there's disturbance happening in your mind. Whereas you see somebody there who is extremely, let's say, they're self-contented, very knowledgeable, very compassionate, and very calm. You meet a person, instantly your agitation that you brought from the early experience will subside. Just with the object. Object has a huge difference. You're getting it? So therefore, Lama Tsongkhapa included the objects. Object will trigger pain in you. Object will trigger pleasant feeling in you. Object will trigger calmness in you. Yeah, good. Okay, so now, yes.
When the fourth level of the formalism and the formalism,
Yes.
but still they continue to see the object as objectively real.
Yes, of course.
Why don't they don't have suffering of feeling?
Why don't they have?
Suffering of feeling.
The fourth concentration, which means the fourth form realm, or the formless, they have appearance of objective reality. So
why they don't have suffering of feeling?
okay, you have the perception of the objective reality and believing them to be true. That is a part of the pervasive conditioned suffering, not the suffering change. So, because of that, they cannot get out of samsara. Seeing things objectively real and believing them to be true, that traps them in samsara. So that is, I'll say, that is the same to all the three realms. So that is pervasive conditioned suffering. It's not suffering change. So they don't have suffering change. Because of suffering change, for more evolved beings who are more into meditative experience, they could see that even the pleasant feelings also disturbance. As I said earlier, it gives you disturbance. When you think about the emptiness, the mind subsides, that turbulence subsides. What we call is pleasant feeling. Seeing the cheesecake, pleasant feeling comes, there's a disturbance accompanying that. Now, when you go deeper into meditation, then you see that this is also a disturbance. So they come down this disturbance. So a pleasant feeling for us, this is what I like to have. But more evolved people, this is what is to be shunned, what is to be discarded. Good? Okay. Yes. Last question.
When you say contaminated neutral feeling,
Yes.
neutral is unbiased, right?
Okay. Neutral has, good point. Neutral has many connotations. Neutral has many connotations. And there's equanimity. Equanimity has many connotations. Say, equanimity pertaining to your, to emotions. Equanimity pertaining to a feeling. Equanimity pertaining to your application. Pertaining to emotions is like, oh, I'm attached to this person, I dislike this person. One is pull, one is push, you're emotionally. So whereas third person, okay, it's fine, so. neutral. So I have a feeling of equanimity with respect to the third one. That is the emotional equanimity. Second one is the equanimity in terms of the feelings. Say, when I meditate in compassion, I feel happy. When I think of somebody who abused me, I feel unhappy. So when I think of something else, just like say just like a house, it's a neutral. That is equanimity with respect to the feeling. Then the equanimity with respect to the application. For example, in meditation, you're advised to keep track, keep an eye on your mind to see if the mind is distracted or sleeping, or the mind is actually meditating. So you have to apply the remedies like introspection. Always keep an eye whether your mind is meditating or not. So when your meditation is going so well, very smooth, then it's advised don't apply the application anymore. If you apply the application, that becomes disturbance. For example, Lakshmi, right? Say Lakshmi, let's say that you are in your class 12 and you're not studying at all, and your parents say, hey Lakshmi, study, study, study. And you hold the book, and again you let it go, again go to the mobile, right? Mobile games. And again the mother comes, hey, study. Again you leave the mobile and pick up the book and study. And at one point you study and you start to understand it. You understand it, and then you find joy in it. So what happens? Then you don't touch the mobile anymore, right? Your mind goes deep into the studies. Not only that, you are really getting the nuances there. If your mother comes after every 2 minutes, hey, Lakshmi, are you studying? Are you studying? Your mind is going deeper, and again it comes on the surface because of the mother. Are you studying? Again, go down a little deep. Again, the mother comes. Again, you cannot go too deep. Why? Why? That's because of the mother's introspection too often. When you're doing too good, don't apply the introspection anymore. Keep the introspection at the level of neutral. Don't apply. This is known as the equanimity of the application. Three kinds of equanimity. Neutral always doesn't mean what did you say? Neutral always doesn't mean something very positive, unbiased. It's not. It has many connotations. So the neutral feeling is in terms of just a feeling. Okay, what are you feeling now? Neutral. Neutral may not necessarily be like virtuous, non-virtuous. Even a pleasant feeling can be virtuous, non-virtuous, or neutral. Even unpleasant feeling can be sometimes virtuous, sometimes non-virtuous. So on the feeling level, it's very different. Yeah. And even neutral, there are many other neutrals. Even the electricity, there's also neutral. You know that? Electricity, the lines, electrical wires, one is positive, one is negative, one is neutral. Right? There are many neutral. Right? Don't understand neutral to mean only one. It has many connotations. But you're good. It's already 10:30. Right? Okay, we'll stop here. Deyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Gate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Parasamgate
Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha.
And I see that from the questions coming up, the questions are all very good. And of course, we cannot go into too detail with each of these questions. And I would highly recommend you to do the Nalanda Diploma course. You're getting it? All these will be dealt in with great in leisure, in time. We spend time to discuss all these points. So I would highly recommend you to go for this, to get complete, more detailed information about all the questions that you asked now. This green one.